Hello, and welcome to the SASSEE Show. I'm your host, Gayle Saunders. And today we have another sassy lady with us. And this is Tracey Sigers,
Yes.
who is a phenomenal woman. And
Thank you.
thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you for having me, Gayle. Thank you. I'm
Absolutely.
excited to be here.
Well, I'll tell you, the reason you're here is because you're sassy, but you're also sassy in the IT world.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so tell us what you do in IT and how you got into that IT role.
It's funny because I did not start off in IT. I didn't even want to do IT. I wanted to be a fashion buyer. I used to watch the movie Mahogany with Diana Ross, and she was a fashion buyer, and I loved that movie and everything that she was about. And I thought, oh, I'm going to go to one of these big stores. I'm going to be a fashion buyer. And I come from a long lineage of educators, my mother, my aunt. And so, of course, I didn't want to do that either. But I always found myself in front of an audience to teach or train. And so got some advice from an old co-worker, and he was like, you should try it. You should go into IT. Never thought I wanted to do it. Started training individuals at work, and it just kind of morphed into me becoming what they called then a training officer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was doing that, and then I thought, I don't know if I want to do this all the time, but I'm loving being with people. I'm loving watching people learn and those light bulbs go off. And so then I kind of moved around and dabbled in some software development. Didn't like that. Coding was boring. I want to be around people. But jumped back over to network security. And then from there went into a position as an IT director for about a year and a half with NCUS, National Center for Urban Solutions. And then moved over into the position that I'm in now. And currently I am the IT department chair for NCUS Tech Career College.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
Wow. But what that says to me is that your journey, it was a journey, and you explored different things to find out what really moved you.
Right.
And so let's talk about the journey of finding your way.
Finding my way was interesting because you kind of go through, when you're younger, you kind of listen to what everybody says. You know, like, oh, you'll be good at this and you'll be good at that. And then you question yourself, like, well, can I do this? And then you meet naysayers, or what the kids call haters, who don't want you to do it just because they don't want you to do it. So you try doing that. And that journey just kind of, you just kind of keep going, and you find things that you like and you don't like. And for me, it was finding myself in that journey more so than finding what I liked. Because when I found myself, then I found out what I liked. And then I didn't allow people to tell me this is where you fit good. Because that happens a lot during the journey. Other people, they see a skill, and you may have that skill, but that skill may not be the skill that is what you're supposed to do for the rest of your life. So I had to find myself, and then when I found myself, I was able to say, you know what? I know I can do this, but that's not my lane. That's not what I want to do. And it's okay if I don't want to do it. And it's okay if I'm good at it and don't want to do it. I know that there's a gift, my gift goes somewhere else. And so finding myself, I was able to fit my gift into where it should be.
And that is so powerful when you say finding yourself. Because as women, we are always doing so many different things. We really do find ways to help ourselves, not as often as we help others.
Right.
And so part of our work around SASSEE is really to talk about how we support other sisters while we're supporting ourselves along the way. So when you say finding myself was really, really critical, can you lean in on that a little bit more and tell us how you maintain that no matter what you're doing?
So I always tell people the best way to find yourself sometimes is to write it down. And I ended up writing a book. So I ended up being a co-author on a series of books for self-help books to encourage women. And I told my story, and my story was Confessions of a Beauty Queen. And so one of the confessions was me really not liking who I was, and I was called the ugliest girl in school. So, and so I told that story. I told that story not just to it was a release for me, but it really was to help someone else. And my goal, and I know you know this on Facebook and social media, I do the motivational meter.
You do.
But that was really how I found myself, was blessing someone else. I remember praying, and I remember God bringing that meter to me, that motivational meter topic. And he told me, you're going to have to bless some people that you don't even want to bless. And he would drop names in my spirit, and I don't want to say nothing good about them. They just, and he blessed them anyway. And when I did that, that really helped me release a lot of me. And it helped me release a lot of hurt, pain. And then I was able to kind of just move through that journey because I was so busy blessing people, I didn't even realize that I was really being healed.
Powerful.
As I was blessing, I was being healed. And I thought I'm just doing what you tell me. I'm just doing what you got. I'm listening to you. But it actually ended up me being healed. And that allowed me to soar in my journey. And a journey never ends.
True.
Not until we leave this world. So I'm still on it. But I've made some really big accomplishments in just helping and being able to help and speak into others' lives. And that's really what drives me.
And that is so purpose-driven, and that really feeds us and fuels us. And so when you think about you being a bad girl in IT, but also the other things that you do, how is it and how do you encourage other women who may not see the value of who they are, but also may be intimidated in worlds that traditionally are men's dominated, career in IT and others? What do you do to help encourage women to be bold, be brave, and be who they are?
I always tell women in IT, do what others won't do. Being an African American woman in IT, you always got to go the extra mile. You got to have more certifications. You got to have more education. You got to know your stuff. You do. And you're going to be challenged. And don't be afraid to be challenged. And stick to what you know. I think what happens is when we get into these roles, we try to do everything because we want to be successful and we want to be respected. Be respected for your gift and what you do, because the Bible says your gift will make room for you. Guess what? It's making room for them also. And that room for them is to see you operate in that gift. And so I tell them, stick with what you know and don't try to do what everyone else is doing. Do what you're called to do, even in IT. And it's changing all the time. So because it changes, we all have to go back and say, okay, now we have AI. Okay, I'm like, oh, now I got to go get a certificate in AI because I have to be able to, make sure that my instructors know how to teach this. And so then I have to be familiar with it. And don't be afraid to learn something different. And don't be afraid to change. Because if you don't change, you'll be stuck. And we don't want to be stuck. We want to keep evolving and just moving.
And I think that's so powerful what you said. We cannot be afraid to change because we can get stuck. And so hold on to that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back. Stay right there. We'll be right back with more for the SASSEE Show.
Stay tuned. SASSEE will be right back.
Dear moms and dads, we know it's not always been easy, and it's been a lot of hard work. What you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
Everything I do it for you.
Mom, love you always.
No, it's true. Everything I do it for
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Welcome back. Today we're having a wonderful conversation with Tracey Sigers, who is a bad lady in IT and more. And so Tracey, you African-American female.
Yes, ma'am.
In technology. Talk to us about women in tech, Black women in tech, and that journey.
So that for Black women in tech, the journey, it can be very different. I would always encourage the education piece first because you have to know what you want to do. Technology is very wide. You may just want to be a technology instructor. You might want to be a CFO. Now that we have AI, you might want to go into AI. You might want to be in engineering. You may want to be a coder. So you have to figure out what it is you want to do in tech, and then seek that type of education for that particular skill set. As I said before break, it changes so much, and then you may get bored. And you may say, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something else. And so that journey for me, I went to school. I went to Columbus State. Shout out to Columbus State. And then I went to Wilberforce. So I am a Wilberforce alum, HBCU, and got a BS in information technology, because I knew at that point, I kind of knew like, okay, this is what's going to drive me, because like I said, as an African American woman in tech, you have to have the education. You just do. You're going to be challenged. You're going to be challenged, and so you just want to have things in your tool chest, like I say, if you got to pull it out just a little bit. And then I went and furthered my education with Franklin University, and I didn't want to do so much technology in a master's degree, so what I did was did a dual, an MBA and a technology leader with a technology leadership focus, because I wanted to make sure I still held on to that. And so I wanted to be able to be diverse. And so you always want to look at something that's going to make you diverse. And so, because if you get in just one path, there's women who just like to code and that's all they want to do, and that's great. So for me, I wanted to be diverse. So I did things educational wise that kind of made me more diverse. So I wasn't just stuck in one lane. And as I said before, if you want to just be a coder, then that's what you do. If you want to just be help desk, that's what you want to do. But I wanted to do more. And so me being diverse in my education and seeking certifications, different things, it just makes you're able to be more flexible in the world of technology.
And so, culture-wise, being in that space, how any pointers you could give some of our younger females who are entering their career in IT, perhaps, and how do you manage and maneuver through that?
Like anything else, you have to be able to, you have to stand up for yourself. You can't, and know when to say no. Know when to say no. And don't be afraid to say, I made a mistake. Because IT, you're always going to make a mistake. No one knows everything. And you're going to meet some people that think they know everything, but they don't. And they sound very, very smart. So, they know how to use the lingo, and you'll think, oh my God, they just really know everything. And they don't. But for young ladies coming in, stand your ground. Don't be afraid to change. Be flexible. But also, the most important thing, be willing to listen and to hear. Because when you listen and you hear, then you get a roadmap to where you're going also. Because there's a lot of people in IT that give good advice. It is very heavily inundated with men. It is. It still is to this day. But I believe if you take those tips, you will do well. You will do well.
And when you think about stand up for yourself, speak up for yourself, that's part of what we try to focus on about SASSEE. SASSEE is more than just being about your look, your feel. It really is having that self-confidence and being confident in who you are. So can you talk about that, and if you have any women in your life who we call maybe part of your tribe or your kitchen cabinet, or how do you leverage that, and how do you not only support other women, but how do you lean in on other women to help support you?
So let's start with my tribe, because I love my tribe.
Yes.
So my tribe, of course, my mom and my aunt are very near and dear to my heart. My daughter is a part of my tribe. That 22-year-old young recent graduate seems to know everything in the world that like I haven't been here before, but she's very supportive and gives great advice. So that is my inner core. That's my family. And then I have a wonderful select group of friends and sorors. Being a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, you find with this Skiwi, yes. And I find that those ladies, those core women have really helped me and encouraged me along the way. And those are a part of it. And then I have another tribe, you have different pockets of some of my sister friends that I grew up with. And those are the ones that just kind of, I knew you win, don't trip, don't say, no, I know you're doing all these wonderful things in the community and you've done all, but you still Tracey. Let's talk, let's get to the nitty gritty of it. And that's where I can just be raw and just be my authentic self. I don't have to worry about what people think. They just know me, and they get me, and they let me be me. And so I think that's really important. And then how do I lean in? Well, I'm always being present. Just
say
be
that again, please.
be present. Knowing when to say no allows you to be present. So I had to learn how to say no to some things so I could be present for those women that lean into me, so I can lean into them. And I love that. I love being able to be present for the women who have leaned into me and giving back into them. And so another way I lean in, I'm the chair for Uplift Her.
Yes.
And so it's an extension of the African American Wellness Walk. And so being able to be there and uplift women about health. And I know you have some other things coming up with that, right?
Yes. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because we know that Uplift Her is all about making sure that women are taking care of ourselves, wellness, mental health, all of those things. So I'm so excited, because later on in our show, we're going to have Pam Gregory, who was the founder of Uplift Her.
Yes,
So we're excited about that.
Yep.
So congratulations on being the chair of that. That's very, very powerful.
It was, I went kicking and screaming at first, but it has been the most wonderful experience of my life, and just being able to connect with women on another whole different level outside of what I do with technology has just been instrumental to me, and it's actually really fueled me to want to do more. And so I think that's another thing. Back to a question you asked earlier, don't be afraid to step outside of your lane to help someone else, because you got to come out to help someone else. And so I think that's just been a great way for me to lean in. Of course, I do the motivational meter movement, and I have a lot of meter movement.
We follow you, yes.
I love being able to bless and really uplift individuals. That's how I got my healing. And I love it when someone will, inbox me and say, how did you know? And I don't know. I just, whatever falls into my spirit, that name that drops, and I'll just say, okay, God, give me what to say. I don't know what to say about this person, but it's always right on time. And then to get the feedback from people saying, I was just minding my business, but I was going through something, and hear this, shout out to me and all these wonderful things you said, and I needed that. My day has been uplifted, and that's what fuels me. That's what fuels me, knowing that I was able to reach out and touch someone at their crucial moment. You never know when that one word that you give to someone could change their life, their day, their moment, the second. We just need it. So that's how I lean in.
So you just shared your why. That is your why. What keeps you going, what motivates you, what helps you uplift other women and support other women. How do you keep that going? Because sometimes we do so much. Sometimes we're burning the candles at both ends. But how do you re-energize and take care of you as you're helping to take care of others?
Right. Take some good trips. Vacation. Taking some short trips, some good trips. I know this summer, my trips were, I had to speak a lot this summer in different places. And so one place was Florida. So I said, you know what, I'm going to speak, and I'm going to do this whole webinar, Women in Tech, and I'm going to just chill and go shopping and do some things for myself. So finding those moments, those pockets where, hey, take a staycation at home. There's days I'll just take a day off and I don't do anything. I get in my house, I need to clean, I need to wash, and just refocus and really having some shutdown time. I think that's what helps me, having some, and like I said earlier, knowing when to say no, because that helps you be present, and that helps you get healthy, so I have to be able to say no. I have to be able to say, okay, this is too much, I can't go. I love it when I don't have nothing to do on the weekends but watch football. I love football.
Yes.
And so if I could stay at home all day on Saturday and just sit on my couch and watch football, I would do it.
That's a good day for you.
It's a great day. But it never worked out that way. But for the most part, I'll try to figure out when that can be done. Yeah.
Well, you talked about how you lift up others, how you're motivating others, and how you really do maneuver in tech and support other women and others in the tech world. So we really wanted to say thank you, Tracey, for being a sassy sister in all that you do, because we know that it's so important for us to support one another, to really be there for one another, and we thank you for being one of those sisters who does that.
say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
So since we're just talking,
Okay.
let's talk about, so who in your life do you consider your sassy tribe, let's say that?
Let's see, I have a bunch. Let me see, who's a sassy? Claire Huxtable, when she was Claire Huxtable.
Yes.
That was my sassy girl. I used to love just how she maneuvered family life, and then she could get you told without getting you told.
Yes,
so she was always sassy to me. I loved her being sassy. And one other one, Angela Bassett.
Bassett.
Baby.
She's one of mine
Girl,
too.
that's a sassy sister.
Yes, she is.
That's a
Yes,
sassy
she
sister.
is.
And she's more sassy as she's aging.
And she's aged so beautifully.
She has,
really
and I
has.
love that she is just as sassy as she wants to be. So those are kind of two that stick out to me right away.
And then, you mentioned earlier about you loved mahogany as you were growing up. Diana Ross?
Diana Ross is going to be sassy, and she's still sassy. She still wears her furs
Yes.
and her long gowns. She doesn't come any other way but the same way, and I love that because she's consistent sassy.
Yes.
I call her sugar sharp.
Oh, I love that. And we know what that term is.
Right. We do. So
Yes.
I think she's sassy. Halle Berry is a sassy
Yes,
sister to me.
yes.
She is, because we watched her grow up and be able to do the things that she's done. And so if I have to go to some other, sassy sisters, I'm gonna say Missy Elliott.
Ooh, yes,
that's
indeed.
a sassy
Yes,
sister
indeed.
to me, because she keeps it moving and she doesn't have to do too much. And let me just go ahead and say this one, and I'm praying for her right now, and that would be Celine Dion. She's sassy to me
yes,
because of
she
just how she
is.
carries herself.
Yes.
Sassiness can be classy.
Yes, indeed.
And so because she's now going through her medical condition,
yes, she
she's a sassy sister to me. So I really like her. So that's sassy to me. Sassy
love
doesn't
it.
have to look a certain way,
No.
but it can be defined as something in what people do. And she's a giver, and so I love that about her.
Yes. And I'm so glad you mentioned that when you said you don't, just being a certain way. Cicely Tyson, I bless her. She, no matter
Sassy
how,
of all
yes,
sassies.
Yes, indeed.
Sassy of
So-
all. And another, and I don't know her name, but she was the older lady that played in Black Panther. She started acting at 88 years old.
Yes,
And
yes,
that's
yes,
sassy to me.
Yes.
I mean, no matter what age, and
She
you
looks
know,
so regal.
Regal.
But at 88, she hadn't been acting.
No, she
So
had not.
that
So
says
that's
a lot.
sassy to me
Yes,
too. That's
yes.
sassy. And I'm gonna go here. Let me see if I could think of another person. I'm gonna tell you, Whoopi Goldberg is sassy to
Ooh,
me.
yes, she is.
She is
Yes,
she is killing the game when it
yes,
comes to
indeed.
talk show
Yes,
host.
yes.
And her movies were all phenomenal.
Oh.
All phenomenal. You can't take anything away from her. So I'm gonna just go and say that those are sassy women.
Yes,
And
yes.
alongside my mother, my
I was
aunt,
going there too.
they got to be, and my grandmother was sassy. My grandma Sigers was sassy as it could get, with her chicken farm and the way she cooked.
Yes,
Oh, she was
yes,
sassy and would
yes.
get you told in 5 seconds.
And you didn't know that she cut you until
No.
about 2 weeks later.
Exactly.
But
Grandma, did you say that to me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes.
sassy to me.
Yes.
So those are the sassy women for me.
Yes, and I too leaning on my mom and my sisters. They are just absolutely, and were my mom who's passed, but yes, so
Sassy.
so
Runs
wonderful.
in your bones.
Yeah, it's in the blood.
It's in the
It's
blood.
in the blood.
It's in the blood. Yes.
So thank you for sharing that.
No, thank you for having me.
Stay tuned. Sassy will be right back.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers, he connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
So glad that you were with us today. Now, before we close, I have one question for you.
Okay.
You know SASSEE is about sisters, about support, service, and encouraging each other. So what does SASSEE mean to you?
Okay. So SASSEE, sisters supporting, being there, being present, supporting services. Not necessarily that you have to give something monetary, but give some experiences. Create some memories for your sisters around you. Have them over for a wine day. Create your own, your own session of, hey, let's have a charcuterie board. Let's come over. Let's just talk. Have a pool party. Just making sure you're in service service means being present. And being present. And then, of course, we're just going to throw that SASSEE in there. Always look good. Always look your best. Be your best. Even on your worst days. Make your sweatsuit look good. Make your tennis shoes look. Throw on some makeup and some earrings. Because I find that when you dress something up, you feel a whole lot better. So I always say, dress yourself up. Even if you're going to the grocery store, going to get the mail. People might think, oh, why is she so dressed up? Because I'm sassy and I feel that way. That's what it all means to me.
Oh, thank you so much. And that is what SASSEE is all about. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next SASSEE show.
Stay right there. SASSEE with Gayle Saunders will be right back.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Everybody in my house knows how to ride a bike except me. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Hi, my name is Tracey Sigers. I'm the IT Department Chair for NCUS Tech Career College, and I am on the set of the SASSEE Show.
Do one more.
Okay.
After you say you're on the set list on the show.
Oh, follow.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ready? Hi, my name is Tracey Sigers. I am the IT Department Chair for NCUS Career College. I said it wrong. It's supposed to be NCUS Tech. Give me 1 second. Hi, my name is Tracey Sigers. I am the IT Department Chair for NCUS Tech Career College, and I am on the set of the SASSEE Show. Please follow us.
All right.
That sounded great.
Okay, good.
Oh, you are wonderful. Thank you, darling.
Take
my
your
shoes
shoes
off.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on SASSEE with Gayle Saunders.